There's too many people that are isolated in trying to do good work for God. They're all trying to figure out how to market Catholicism in a fresh way that actually engages people.
So we tried it the first year, had tremendous success.
It's exciting. I'm having fun. I'm meeting a lot of really great people.
I have been to all of these shows over the last year, and by far this is my favorite.
I want to emphasize the importance of what you're doing as lay apostles in the CMN.
The Catholic Marketing Network has a service that the marketplace needs and the church needs.
There's the distribution of a lot of Catholic religious items, but most of the people you talk to, they say, well, we really come for the networking.
It's a great joy to be here. In fact, it was almost 10 years ago that I came to the Catholic Marketing Network for the first time. There was a friend and I putting out sacred music, and Ignatius Press picked it up and they showcased us, and before you know it, we had sold 20,000 copies to people like you. And that sprungboard a company that now has reach in about 8 different countries.
I found really good and very interesting because I like when people come from everywhere and we can learn a lot. We come to show something, but they show us too. So that's amazing.
This is always one of my favorite events.
I always love coming here and being here because it's such a synergy to be around like-minded people with the same ideals, the same love for the church. So it's beautiful.
The Shroud of Turin is one of the most researched and studied relics in church history, and profoundly impacts many who encounter its mystery.
As a person of faith, looking at it through the eyes of faith, I don't think it can help but touch your heart.
Something that we can look on not only to bolster our faith in those moments of weakness, but also to deepen our faith and our appreciation, our intimacy with Christ.
Join Fiat Ministry Network and Patchwork Heart Ministry as they examine the science of the shroud through the lens of faith.
Really interesting scientific information that we didn't know about, like the pollen from all the different regions of the world. As the shroud traveled around, it picked that up. Some of the mites, things like that was really interesting to me. I mean, this made you really want to believe it a lot more.
It's impressive. Like, humanly, I don't think that is another level of love. It's not I'm gonna see people like, oh, I love you, I'll give you a chocolate. No. I'm giving you more than my life. I'm giving you my suffering.
Asking both experts and disciples, who do you say I am?
As far as who the man of the shroud is, I, as a person of faith and kind of reviewing the evidence there, it seems that a convincing argument can be made that it's Jesus of Nazareth.
Visit patchworkheart.org/shroud to learn more and get exclusive behind-the-scenes updates for your support.
Want to talk about our opponent? They're bigger, faster, stronger, more experienced. And on paper, they're just better, and they know it too. But I want to tell you something that they don't know. They don't know your heart.
Patchwork Heart Ministry presents Young Catholics Respond, a challenge for young people to stand up for the Catholic faith and confound the world with radical hope. Now, here's your host, Bill Snyder.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Young Catholics Respond. I am Bill Snyder. It's great to be with you. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Patchwork Heart Ministry channel, however you're finding us, whether that's YouTube or Podpage or just plain old podcast. We thank you so much for tuning in and listening to Young Catholics Respond, and encourage you to visit our websites, patchworkheart.org and also patchworkheartradio.org. But I don't want to spend too much time talking about ourselves, because I have a wonderful guest. Her name is Cathy Gilmore, and she is the Director of Communications and Event Planning for the Catholic Marketing Network. Welcome, Cathy, and thank you so much for joining me today on Young Catholics Respond.
Thanks, Bill. I'm happy to be with you. This is great to have a chance for us to connect again.
It is, and I was saying right before we got on the air that I can't believe it's already been a year since we were last talking about Catholic Marketing Network and the amazing conference and trade show that it truly is. But for people who don't know or people who are just listening to this for the first time, tell them a little bit about what Catholic Marketing Network is.
Absolutely. About 25 years ago, a man named Alan Napleton, who was a successful businessman in business development, took his skill with that and decided to put it into the service of the church. And that took the form of a trade show where all the people who made and published Catholic stuff would get together at the same space with the people who could sell and distribute Catholic stuff. So whether it was publishers or product suppliers or even service providers. So that was the shape of things for many years. But in the last few years, I'd say 5+ years, with the onset of the internet, everything in how you expand and spread and evangelize the Catholic faith has changed. Like you're a podcaster, we're reaching people in very different ways than through Catholic gift and bookstores and things like that used to be the main, kind of almost the only game in town. And now that's still an important part of the process because that's that meeting place, that local face-to-face meeting place where so much beautiful support for evangelization happens. The relationships that people have in a Catholic store go far beyond the product that they acquire there. So CMN still is very supportive and encouraging of that. But in addition, this year especially, what we are doing to serve the Catholic space is we're expanding the breadth of our event, because we used to just do things to support people who were, actively in a Catholic business or ministry. And now that's all expanding, and our website, all the functionality on our website is expanding. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it really is. And, you can talk to us a little bit about how that's expanding. I know, it's now considered a conference and trade show. It's not just simply a trade show. And so, who is coming for the conference this year?
Absolutely. Well, what we've done is we have expanded our conference partners. So if you can, think like a young person, think like a young adult who is, out of college and they're trying to figure out, how do they live their faith in such a way that that actually is a practical thing. And so for many years, CMN has supported the Catholic Writers Guild and their conference, their live conference. And so we are continuing with that this year. So for 3 days during the overall Momentum 22 event, that conference will be happening. So anybody who's involved in Catholic writing who wants to build their craft and grow spiritually and learn how to market their work, they need to come to that conference track. Well, in addition to that, we have 2 other conference tracks. One is the Law of Life Summit, and the other is the SEMA, Coalition of Eucharistic and Marian Apostolates, Pillars of Faith conference track. So which one would you like me to describe first?
It's amazing. I saw them on the website, so I would love for you to jump into either one. But I guess you can start with the SEMA because that's always interesting.
Okay. And so the focus of the SEMA track is, and if you're anybody who is interested in Marvel movies, I'm calling this, how with the Marvel movies, they have Avengers Assemble. Yeah. Well, I'm calling the SEMA track Intercessors Assemble because this track is all for prayer warriors. This is, if you feel like right now, if people are depressed or feeling isolated and they feel like prayer is all I've got, you're hanging by a thread emotionally and you're just clinging to God in prayer. Well, we want everyone who feels called as a prayer warrior to come to CMN and get 2 things. To get strengthened so they're not feeling isolated, alone, depressed, or whatever, and to get united. because that's the focus of this Pillars of Faith conference. We're revived by the Eucharist. So it's preparing us for Eucharistic revival, as well as united by the rosary, to really realize that when we're praying that rosary, we're not praying alone. And the more we mentally and spiritually unite our prayers with the rosaries and the prayers of others, it really exponentially superpowers it. So that's also my thought in terms of the Marvel superheroes, that God is calling us to be superheroes. And Bill, you know, I'm an author of children's books that are called the Virtue Heroes. So I'm really into the whole superhero mystique.
Yeah, I know.
But the speakers and the special guests that we have for that SEMA track are just outstanding. I mean, we have Bishop Joseph Perry from the Archdiocese of Chicago. I'm so excited he's coming, this gentle, wonderful shepherd. And he's going to really focus us on how do we prepare for Eucharistic revival. Father Richard Heilman is going to get us mobilized as prayer warriors. And we're going to have Father Frank Pavone, who is going to do a Eucharistic chaplet reflection, Divine Mercy chaplet reflection on how through the Eucharist and Divine Mercy we can defeat and eliminate and end abortion. We have Dr. Peter Howard, who is, he's the founder of the Fulton Sheen Institute. And so we're going to look at the example of Fulton Sheen and everything he said about modern times and what was coming, and really channel into his thinking in terms of getting mobilized to make a difference in the culture. And then we have Father Chris Alar from the Marians, who is going to really help us focus in on what about the rosary? How does that have power to unite us? And even talking about the Rosary Confraternity, which so many people, especially young people, you think that's grandma's devotional group. And really, it hasn't gone away. It is still very much a part of the church. And that's what won the Battle of Lepanto. So if we feel like we're in a spiritual battle now, that whole idea of connecting with the Rosary Confraternity is a way to really put some power into our prayer. And then finally, I'm not done. I feel like I'm an infomercial, but wait, there's more.
It's all good.
Is that we have Father Luke Mary, who is one of the CFR priests, and he's going to be speaking on Thursday morning at our breakfast to really help us understand the whole connection of Fatima to what we're experiencing today, and how do we connect with our Lord and Our Lady to make a difference. So that's just for the prayer warriors. Okay, that's just the SEMA piece. It's a 2-day conference track that we think is going to really speak to the hearts of a lot of people, particularly younger people who want to, maybe they're like the only one in their friend group who's really plugged into their faith, or their work group that, cares about God, and because God is completely absent from so much of our workspace and even our social interactions. And CMN is where you're going to come in and people's eyes go wide when they come. You know this, Bill. And they're like, wow, it's that I could have had a V8 moment, because you just didn't know how much good was happening in the church.
Oh, absolutely. And it's amazing. Patchwork Heart Ministry will be there. We're booth number, I think, 164. So you can come over and check us out at the trade show hall. But there is so much going on this year, and it's wonderful. And you mentioned also the Father Frank Pavone, the whole issue of abortion. And the fact that you're having a Law of Life summit as well during this, because as it kind of looks right now, possibly the Roe versus Wade is going to fall, and so with that being said, being poised and ready to step into that, and so what does that look like with the Law of Life summit?
Right, absolutely. That what we say is this event this summer is the true modern reflection of Ora et Labora. And so if you can imagine, we've got all these prayer warriors getting mobilized and praying and everything literally in one room. And in the room immediately next door, the ballroom next door, is the Law of Life Summit. Same 2 days. And anybody that comes to any part of CMN, if you get a ticket for the CMN, you can go to any track anywhere. So you can pop in with the authors, you can come in with the Law of Life track, or be with the SEMA track. But in the Law of Life track, truly, as you said, Bill, that we are preparing for the future of the pro-life movement. So these powerful speakers like David B. Wright and Catherine Hodrow and a host of others that they're lawyers that are tops in their field with Thomas More Society. They're coming in to show us the way. What have we learned from where we've been so far, trying to fight and end abortion? Well, how do we do this now when the cancer in some ways is going to metastasize? Because it was bad enough when it was a Supreme Court decision that was just forced on everyone. But once this goes out to all the states to decide, then we've got a whole different playing field to play on. And the whole, need for prayer and action is going to, take on a whole new patina, a new look. And so we want to get people energized and ready and prepared. And so from what I hear, this gathering this summer is totally unique. I mean, we're the game, the main game in town for people after whatever the Supreme Court decision looks like, to gather, connect, talk, strategize. And so CMN is happy to give the space to have that happen.
As you mentioned, there's something for everybody at this conference. And so that's super exciting that you can come and plug in. And so what I'd love to do is ask you just how people can become part of this, what the dates are, all that good stuff, because we want people to show up. We want people to encounter this. It truly is life-changing. It's also changing for your ministry. I mean, I can tell you personally just how much this has changed just our little ministry in the 2 or 3 years that we've been going to Catholic Marketing Network. So maybe just talked about that aspect of it too, for the small ministries and those who want to sign up and get involved and come to the trade shows and all of that stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So the Momentum 22 event starts on July the 25th and runs through July the 28th. So that's the whole scope of the whole event. And that's when the Trade Show Expo Hall is open, where all the networking happens and everybody, connects and just, there is so much ministry cross-pollination that happens in that expo hall, because it is such a broad cross-section of different kinds of organizations. I mean, there were years when we didn't have a ton of attendees, but the exhibitors got so much from just connecting with each other. I mean, it was crazy when we were dealing with COVID, stuff like that. So truly, that is super valuable. The way that you connect is at catholicmarketing.com. And if you go to our event page, so that's Catholic Marketing Network, catholicmarketing.com, go to our event page, and then you'll see all the broad general information. But then if you scroll down just a little bit, there are little blocks that get you more information about each of the different conference tracks. But you register all together, and there's various meal-based events that are a separate ticket, 2 of which I want to highlight in a special way because they are so special. Is the Impact Breakfast is on Wednesday morning, and that's Wednesday, July the 27th. And that is going to be keynoted by Deacon Harold Burke Sivers. And he is one of the, the most powerful speakers in the Catholic space. He just, he brings so much passion and so much love and so much professionalism to everything he does. He's actually introducing a new service for organizations, businesses, ministries, parishes called Christian Marketing Solution that integrates a lot of the stuff that we do separately to market our organizations. He's coming up with a way to integrate it all. It's going to be amazing. And so we're thrilled to have him as our keynote and his Christian Marketing Solution as our big sponsor. But then on Wednesday evening, there's something else very special happening, which is the Celebration of Life dinner that is part of the Law of Life event, but we've structured it in a way that it's a separate ticket so that people from the Chicago area, people that work, particularly young people that are working during the day, but they want to get a taste of what all this event is like. They can come to that dinner. It's a cocktail hour to start. That's going to be sponsored by Thomas More Society, and then a special dinner with David B. Wright, Catherine Hodrow, and live entertainment that evening. And so anybody can come to that. You don't have to have been registered for the Momentum event to come to that dinner. It's its own ticket so that, we've got a both and opportunity there. But it's just, I don't know. I just cannot say enough about the opportunity to feed your soul and really strengthen your spirit through the person-to-person connection at our event. We are incarnational, and when we get together face-to-face, it's powerful. I mean, am I wrong? Bill, do you get a sense of that?
Oh, absolutely. And, the other thing that I really want to stress to people is this is a Catholic event. At the heart of this, there is Mass every day. There is Eucharistic adoration that is going on during this conference. And you'll find priests hearing confessions, too. There's times for confessions. So, this is not just a, trade show that's, out there promoting, Catholic materials and Catholic books and all of that. That's wonderful. It is that. But it's also the fact that, this is designed as a Catholic event, and there is so much that's going into it this year with these 3 different tracks and all of that. So when you encounter this, and I've been to it several times, it's beautiful. You walk away not only with amazing business connections, you walk away with also having a sense of, man, I'm uplifted in my faith. I'm not alone. And so, the other thing I was thinking, okay, I'm based in Milwaukee. This trade show this year is in the Chicago area at the Renaissance Hotel in Schaumberg, Illinois. But this is a nationwide, actually even internationally, there are people that come to this. So folks, if you're listening to this, no matter where you are in the country, buy your ticket for this, get your ticket for this, make it something that, you really attend, because it will grow not only your network, but it will grow your faith. So, Cathy, this has been so much fun talking to you, and I appreciate all the, time and just all the details. I'm hungry to come now. I can't wait. So.
Well, and Bill, I wanted to also focus on something that you were saying about the Catholicity of this event. And so all of our hearts, when we hear about all the sad stories out of the Chicago area, there is never a weekend that goes by that there aren't a certain amount of shootings, that people are dying in Chicago. And I don't know about you, but my heart just kind of aches every time I hear that refrain over and over. So one of the things we've done this year that we've never done in such an intentional way before is we're partnering with Kristen Bird and the Diocesan Rosary Congress team. And basically they go around the country and they plan for week-long Eucharistic adoration with prayers of the Rosary said on the hour each hour. And you really pray for transformation in that diocese wherever this event is prayed. Well, we're having a mini Diocesan Rosary Congress during the CMN event. And so, but the intention, among praying for all the intentions of our attendees, but is that God's grace will pour over the Chicago area and the Chicago region like never before. And I really feel like, and we're getting a Eucharistic adoration group from Chicago to help mobilize people in prayer. And we just really think that, we underestimate the power of when our prayers are united in a certain area. And I think God's going to do some beautiful things with all of this. We even have a company called We Adore Him that is sponsoring the use of adoration software, scheduling software, that if anybody is in charge of adoration or involved with adoration at their church, and they're like, how do we get people organized? How do we get people engaged? I'm telling you, this software is a game changer. So there's not one aspect of this event that isn't just, it's just blessed. So be part of it, guys. Come and join us, hang out. It's awesome.
Yeah, we'll definitely put the registration links and everything in the notes of the podcast. So if you're looking, if you're listening on the podcast feeds, check the notes of this podcast and you'll find the link to register for the conference, or at least the website for Catholic Marketing Network, so you can go over and check out all of the amazing happenings yourself. But there is still room for vendors, or it's still room for all of that right now. So sign up, get yourself on this list. You're not going to want to miss it. And this has been such a pleasure talking to you, Cathy. Thank you so much for your time.
You bet. Thanks a lot.
All right, well, folks, until next time, from all of us here at Patchwork Heart Ministry, may God bless you and keep beating to your Catholic heart.
Young Catholics Respond is a production of Patchwork Heart Ministry. For more information about this and all our media programs, visit patchworkheartradio.org. To learn how you can support our ministry or become a sponsor, visit patchworkheart.org.
Today, many students go to college with numerous questions about their faith, yearning to know if the seed planted in them as a child is both true and practical. Using the miracle on the road to Emmaus as a model, young adult ministers conversed weekly for 3 months with college students about the most pressing questions they had about the Catholic faith. As they journeyed together virtually, something amazing happened. Doubts disappeared, fears faded, and Jesus revealed that He is still alive. Hearts Burning Within Us, the latest book from Patchwork Heart Ministry, is a result of that grace-infused conversation. It is the perfect back-to-school gift for recent high school graduates and current college students. Get your copy for them today at patchworkheart.org or by calling 424-704-3278. That's 424-704-3278.
There's too many people that are isolated in trying to do good work for God. They're all trying to figure out how to market Catholicism in a fresh way that actually engages people.
So we tried it the first year, had tremendous success.
It's exciting. I'm having fun. I'm meeting a lot of really great people.
I have been to all of these shows over the last year, and by far this is my favorite.
I want to emphasize the importance of what you're doing as lay apostles in the CMN.
The Catholic Marketing Network has a service that the marketplace needs and the church needs.
There's the distribution of a lot of Catholic religious items, but most of the people you talk to, they say, we really come for the networking.
It's a great joy to be here. In fact, it was almost 10 years ago that I came to the Catholic Marketing Network for the first time. There was a friend and I putting out sacred music, and Ignatius Press picked it up and they showcased us, and before you know it, we had sold 20,000 copies to people like you. And that sprungboard a company that now has reach in about 8 different countries.
I found really good and very interesting, because I like when people come from everywhere and we can learn a lot. We come to show something, but they show us too. So that's amazing.
This is always one of my favorite events.
I always love coming here and being here because it's such a energy to be around like-minded people with the same ideals, the same love for the church. So it's beautiful.
The Shroud of Turin is one of the most researched and studied relics in church history, and profoundly impacts many who encounter its mystery.
As a person of faith, looking at it through the eyes of faith, I don't think it can help but touch your heart.
Something that we can look on not only to bolster our faith in those moments of weakness, but also to deepen our faith and our appreciation, our intimacy with Christ.
Join Fiat Ministry Network and Patchwork Heart Ministry as they examine the science of the shroud through the lens of faith.
Really interesting scientific information that we didn't know about, like the pollen from all the different regions of the world. As the shroud traveled around, it picked that up. Some of the mites, things like that was really interesting to me. I mean, this made you really want to believe it a lot more.
It's impressive. Like, humanly, I don't think that is another level of love. It's not I'm like, oh, I love you, I'll give you a chocolate. No. I'm giving you more than my life. I'm giving you my suffering.
Asking both experts and disciples, who do you say I am?
As far as who the man of the shroud is, as a person of faith and kind of reviewing the evidence there, it seems that a convincing argument can be made that it's Jesus of Nazareth.
Visit patchworkheart.org/shroud to learn more and get exclusive behind-the-scenes updates for your support.